Hey guys, so today I'm going to film a book haul. So basically these books are books I received from January till now, so we have quite a few, and as always I'm going to go through the different categories. So first I'll start with books I have bought, and I've only bought 4 books this year, which I'm really proud of because I've been really trying to cut down my book buying. So the first book I have is Love Boat Taipei by Abigail Hing Wen, and this was one of my most anticipated releases. I have read it already, so I have already talked about it. I did like it, but I didn't love it. I just didn't care for the teen drama and angst and everything, but there's no doubt that this cover is stunning. Like, just look at that. I absolutely love the cover, but unfortunately, yeah, it was a little bit disappointing, but I still really loved aspects of it. The next book that I bought was A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson, and I actually just finished this book yesterday and I loved it. So this was my Patreon book club pick for March. If you don't know, I have a Patreon, and every month we are buddy reading a book together, and then I put up a spoiler-filled reading vlog. Anyway, so yeah, this was the book that we read for March. It is a young adult mystery thriller, and it's set in a small town, and it's basically about this girl, Pippa, who for her school project she decides to investigate the case of Andy, who was murdered years prior in the town that she lives in, and basically everyone in the town agrees that Andy was murdered by Salil Singh, but Pippa, our main character, does not believe that Sal is the one who actually killed Andy. Anyway, so she is investigating the case and I loved it. I'll obviously talk about more in my wrap up, but this was such a fun time, so unexpected, so many twists and turns, super fast paced. So yeah, I loved this book, and this is actually going to be a series, so I can't wait for the second book, which is actually coming out soon. But yes, so happy I bought this and read it and loved it. The next book that I bought was Chain of Gold by Cassandra Clare. Of course I had to pre-order this amazing hardcover, and this is the collector's first edition. Just look at this beauty. If you didn't see, I have already read this book. I was lucky enough to get an ARC, so I have already read it and I loved it. So yeah, this is the amazing hardcover, and it's actually really cool because this hardcover does have this amazing fan art at the front. And yeah, I actually do want to hopefully reread this book this year. I just loved it so much. I read it last year, but yeah, Chain of Gold is amazing. And the last book that I have bought is Untold Day Night by Baez, and this is actually a translated work. So Baez is actually a Korean author. I believe she's quite well known, and actually Jessie from Bow Ties and Books sent me a photo of this cover, and they were like, oh my goodness, look at this book. And I was like, that cover is stunning, and I looked more into it and it sounds amazing. It's also super short, like look at that. So we basically follow 27-year-old Amiee, who just lost her job. So we basically follow her through one day and one night, and that's all I really know about the synopsis, and that's all I want to know. But I am really intrigued by this because the reviews say it's like a very different narrative structure, and it's described as being strange, and apparently the timeline is a bit like weird or something. I don't know, it just sounds like really vague but super interesting, and I just can't wait to read it. It just seems like one of those books where I'm just like, okay, I don't know what to expect, but let's go in. And I'm just always looking for unique stories nowadays, so excited for this. Plus I want to read more Korean works, plus I want to read more translated works, so yeah, I am just so happy about this. Plus yeah, like I said, the cover, so stunning and super short, so yeah, it just really intrigued me. Now I'm going to move on to gifts. So the first is The Poet X by Elizabeth Acevedo, which I read recently and really loved, and this was on my Amazon wishlist and it showed up at my door. It didn't come with a note, so if you gave this to me, please let me know so I can thank you, but I am so happy that someone sent this to me because I really loved it and I've been wanting to read it for ages, and I'm just so happy to have it now, so thank you so much if you sent this to me. Then I got another book off my wishlist, which was The Last Wish by Andrea Sapkowski, and this is like the first book in the Witcher series, I believe, so it's like actually a collection of short stories, but it's like number 0, so you do need to read this first in the series. And I watched The Witcher in December and January, like the TV show, and loved it, and I've started playing The Witcher 3 and I'm loving that, so I definitely want to read the series. So this is obviously the first book I need to read, and I'm so excited to see how I feel about it. And I really love this new cover that they released. I believe they released this with the Netflix series coming out because it says the book that inspired the Netflix series. But anyway, this was sent to me by Sahira, so thank you so much. I'm so thankful, and hopefully I'll get to this soon. The next 2 books I have as belated birthday gifts. So the first is The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald, and Caitlin from Cait Literature sent this to me. Caitlin is one of my friends, and she sent this to me, and this is her favorite book, so I'm so excited that she sent it to me. I have been wanting to read this for years. It is a classic, obviously, and I don't read classics often, so I'm a bit scared, but I think this is one definitely am going to be into. So I'm also so happy that she sent me this amazing edition. It's so pretty. So yeah, thank you so much, Caitlin. And then I got Heartstopper Volume 3 and Incendiary from Kaz from Little Book Owl, and I have already read Heartstopper Volume 3. Absolutely loved it. This graphic novel series is just everything to me. I have started Incendiary. This is a new fantasy series. This was on my most anticipated releases list, and yeah, I have started it. I'm only on page 31. I don't know if I'm going to finish it soon, just because I don't know if I'm in like the full fantasy mood, but I'm so happy she sent this to me, and this arc is so pretty. But hopefully I will finish it soon, and what I've read so far has been really interesting, so I have high hopes. But yeah, thank you so much, Kaz, for sending these two amazing books. So now I'll move on to books that were sent to me by publishers. So first I have Belle Revolt by Lindsay Miller, and I was sent an arc of this from Sourcebooks, and Sourcebooks also sent me this hardcover, and it's so pretty. So I have already talked about this, but I haven't read it yet, but I really do want to read it. It is a fantasy, it has a female romance, it sounds really interesting, so hopefully it happens this year. Then I have Anna K by Jenny Lee, which is like a retelling of Anna Karenina, which I actually hadn't even heard of. Like, I don't know if that's stupid of me, but I had never heard of Anna Karenina before this book showed up at my door. But apparently it's a classic. And yeah, so this is a retelling. I've heard such good things about it. How cool is this arc? I love like how they crossed out. Like, that is so cool. This is one of the coolest arcs I've ever seen, actually. But yeah, so I do actually really have a lot of interest in reading this, especially because I believe this is a Korean author. Yeah, that makes me super excited. I believe it's set in New York. So it says, welcome to the dizzying heights of New York's Upper East Side, where privilege, partying and scandal rules. Then I also have Run Rebel by Manjeet Mann, and I'm actually super excited about this because it is written in verse, so it shouldn't take too long. It's supposed to be feminist and also feeling like you're in between two cultures, and it just sounds like it's going to be really, really good. So I'm also hoping to read this sometime soon. As you can see, my TBR just keeps growing. Then I have Only Mostly Devastated by Sophie Gonzalez, which is being pitched as like Simon versus the Homo sapiens agenda meets Greece, and this is LGBTQIA+. I don't know if I actually want to read this. Let me know if you've read this and you think I'd like it, because the Greece bit kind of puts me off, just because I'm not really into like musicals and stuff anymore, even though I don't know, just let me know if you think I'd like this. Then I also have The Gravity of Us by Phil Stamper. This is the art copy. This was sent to me by Bloomsbury, and they also did send me the finished copy, but I've already packed that to donate to my local St. Vincent de Paul's. But yeah, I have already read this and I did like it. I didn't love it, but I didn't hate it. I liked it. But this was one of my most anticipated releases, so I'm so thankful that they did send this to me. And if you don't know, this is basically about Cal, who is a social media journalist who has a lot of followers online. He's forced to relocate to Houston, I believe, because his dad is actually going on a NASA mission to Mars. So his whole life kind of turns upside down, and there's like a romance, and it was definitely good. Like, I liked some aspects, but I just thought I was going to really love it. The next book I'm so excited about, because that is Take a Hint, Dani Brown, and this is like the companion novel to Get a Life, Chloe Brown by Talia Hibbert. And I read Get a Life, Chloe Brown last year, loved it. It was one of my favorites of the year. It is an adult romance. I just fell in love with Talia Hibbert's writing. I loved the characters, and in this novel we're following Dani Brown, which is Chloe Brown's sister. So we're actually going to get 3 novels in this series, all are following the 3 different sisters. And we didn't see much of Dani Brown in the first book, but what we did see of her I loved. So I think this is going to be so good once again. So once again, it's obviously an adult romance, and basically we follow obviously Dani and Zafir, and Zafir is a brooding security guard who rescues Dani from a workplace fire drill gone wrong. And the video of that happening goes viral, and people start shipping them together, and Zafir is begging Dani to play along. So it sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun. I really can't wait for this. Definitely planning to read it soon. So thank you so much to A1 Books for sending it to me all the way from the US. I'm so thankful. Cannot wait for this. And this comes out on the 20th of June, so get excited. I just think Talia Hibbert's amazing, and yeah, I'm so excited about this book. The next book I was sent was Infinity Sun by Adam Silvera, and I'm thinking I'm probably going to do a giveaway for this because I don't know if I'm going to read it. I just didn't really have interest in it, plus I haven't seen the best reviews. But I know a lot of people would love this. This is the art copy, and it has already been out since January. But yeah, so I'm thinking I'm going to include this in my ARC giveaway. I have quite a few giveaways to do. Sorry, it hasn't happened yet. I just need to get those sorted, but I'm planning to put this in the giveaway pile because I just don't know if I'd like it. And by the way, if you're wondering why I get sent books that I'm not sure if I would like, it's because I receive books unsolicited sometimes, so I didn't actually ask for the book, but it just showed up in my door. So obviously I'm so thankful, but obviously that also means I'm not going to be interested in every book that I receive. So just letting you know in case you're wondering if I requested something I don't think I'm gonna like. The next book I have is The Mercies by Kieran Millwood Hargrave, and I was planning to read this in February, I think. I'm so excited to read this. Like, I really do want to read this soon. Like I said, my reading has just been pretty slow, but this sounds just so good because it's set in the 1600s around the remote Norwegian island of Vardø, and a reckless storm kills all the men, so Vardø is now a place of women. Like, doesn't that sound amazing? And then 18 months later, a sinister figure arrives, and it's inspired by the real events of the Vardø storm and the 1621 witch trials. So yeah, that just sounds amazing. This is also adult fiction, which I really want to get more into, so I just really do want to read this soon. So hopefully it can happen. And then I was also sent Our Dark Secret by Jenny Quintana, and this is a thriller which I do want to read too. This was sent unsolicited, but when I read the synopsis I was like, oh, this sounds really interesting. So basically we follow Elizabeth, and it says that there was a body discovered when she was a teenager, and 20 years on, Elizabeth wants nothing more than to keep the secrets of her teenage years where they belong in the past. But another body has been found and she can't keep running from what happened. So obviously a huge mystery there. I want to know what's going on. So this is definitely a thriller I want to read, and thank you so much to Pat McMillan for sending it to me. And now we're up to the final category, which is books I received in subscription boxes. So first we'll start with Very Late. So these are books that I received from January to March. So we actually got this arc in the January box, which is Wicked As You Wish by Rin Chapeko, and this was on my most anticipated releases, so I was so excited to see it. I was planning to read it in February once again, but I didn't get to it. But this is a Filipino inspired, I believe, fantasy. I keep saying it's Filipino inspired because I've seen people say that, but I've also seen people say it's not Filipino inspired, but I do know that the author is Filipino. But it just sounds really cool. It has like an urban fantasy element because it's set in this fantasy land, but then they're all relocated to Arizona, I believe, and they suddenly have no magic and everything, and I just find that so fascinating. So this is one I definitely want to read. If you read it, let me know what you think. Then we also received this amazing edition of Woven in Moonlight by Isabel Ibanez and The Shadows Between Us by Trisha Lebenseller. So these are both exclusive Very Late editions, and if you've read these books, once again, let me know your thoughts. And finally we have these two books that I received in Our Crate boxes. So these are the January and February books. So we have Scavenge the Stars by Tara Sim and All the Stars and Teeth by Adeline Grace, and this is supposed to be like a mermaid story, so that makes me excited. So yes, those are all the books for this book haul. Let me know your thoughts if you've read any of these books. I really want to know which ones I should prioritize and get to ASAP. But yeah, so I really hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you're having a good day or night, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.